Hello, everybody. Welcome to this epic disaster. We are here after quite a little bit of a layoff.
It has been a minute since we've actually sat here and done this.
Well, I went out of town. I went to Florida. I want to talk about Florida.
Oh, okay. Do you want to have a beer before you do
Yes.
that?
I just wanted to kind of lay this little pin down that we're going to come back. I want to talk because I didn't write it down. In fact, I'm going to write it
You
on
have
the
a
list
pen
here.
in your hand.
Florida.
You can
I'm going to
write
talk
it
about
down.
Florida. But I was on a job in Florida.
Yeah.
And I was there for close to a week.
Yeah.
A little bit less than what I'm usually there. Altogether, I believe it was like 5 days. So because I was gone, and we knew we kind of did all of our recording early, and so this is the first show we've actually sat down and done in 2 weeks.
In like 2 weeks.
I feel rusty.
I am rusty. Like I literally have rust on
That
me.
could have been perverted. I feel rusty, and you said I am rusty.
Stop touching me.
Okay,
Stop
rusty.
touching me.
Speaking of rusty, let's have a beer. I'm a little beer rusty. I haven't had a beer. No, that's not true. Guess what I found?
What did you find?
You know, it's the holiday season.
Yes, it is.
And I was buying beer, and I've been waiting for Office Party
For a
to
whole
come
year.
back. Yes, to come back. And if you listen to the podcast, you know how much I enjoyed Office Party. And then they stopped making it because it's seasonal. They made it again. I bought some.
It's by Prairie. It's by Prairie, just so you know.
What, this one?
No, the Office Party. You're talking about it. You
Office Party is a Beta.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't give it to someone else.
It's a Beta.
And I was so afraid that I was gonna taste it, and they'd like change the formula, but no, it's still the same delicious beer. So I drank it. I probably had about a fourth left, and my dog knocked over my glass.
No.
Yeah, so now I got to get another one. But
Another
I'm
dog?
stocking up on it this year. This is not the beer we're having today, but if you're out and you see Office Party by Abita, that was, even though I didn't rate it high, I always wanted to go back and change my rating. I would have rated it a 5 if I was going to rate it now. But it was the one that we did last year with Mike Faber. He was here.
Yeah.
We talked about Hanukkah.
Yeah.
And he had the beer, and it was one of his favorites as well.
And even after that, the Kroger by my house has it on tap.
Speaking of Mike Faber, I just want to say they're recording their 500th episode of the ESO Network show that they do. What is it called?
Earth Station
It's
1.
just that the podcast is Earth Station 1, and they're
Yes.
recording their 500th next week.
Wow.
Here in Atlanta.
Wow.
Tucker, just down the street from me. I'm going to go.
Nice.
Are you going to go?
I don't know.
You should if you're available.
Okay.
It's at I don't know. It's at a comic book store, and I can't remember which one. But I'm going to go. And then we're kind of talking about maybe having Mike come back. So hopefully he'll come back
Mike will be back.
to our show. But in the meantime, let's talk about this beer that we have today.
Okay, so today for our live beer review, it's a seasonal beer from Southern Tier Brewing Company, and it is called Cinnamon Roll Imperial Ale. It's ale with natural cinnamon and caramel flavors added. It has 8.6% alcohol by volume.
8.6?
Indeed.
Whoa, boy.
And let's see, where are they out of anyways?
We've had Southern Tier before.
Oh,
but
yeah, several Southern Tiers.
don't
I can't
remember.
remember where their brewing is.
Let me
Oh,
check
it's Lakewood, New York.
It's not even in the South.
Nope,
Okay.
that's fine.
Yeah, you can do
Totally
whatever you
fine.
want.
So the color
Oh,
of it is
ooh.
pretty
Okay.
brown.
Now, let me just say this.
What?
A lot of times we have beers on the show that'll have like chocolate porter
Sure.
or mango, whatever. And then you smell it, and it doesn't smell like anything that it says. This smells like cinnamon.
This smells exactly like cinnamon.
It's very
it's
cinnamon.
It's the same color as cinnamon.
Yeah, it smells like a cinnamon roll.
Like if you were to just dissolve a bunch of cinnamon in water, it would be this color. I
I'm
wonder if that's
encouraged.
I wonder if that's what it's gonna taste like.
I don't know.
Well, taste it and find out.
Should I
Jesus.
do it? Here I go.
Yes.
Did you already try some?
No.
Well, why are you yelling at me?
Because you go first.
Suck your beer.
What? I don't even know what that means. Okay, Rick is having an orgasm, so I'm going to
That's
go ahead and try it.
nice.
Stop touching Rusty.
That's nice. I mean, if you don't like cinnamon,
Oh.
it doesn't taste like a beer. It's like a
Yes.
little cocktail. Ooh, this is going to be kind of nice.
All right. I'm going to enjoy
Okay.
this.
All right, so Southern Tier, we're going to be trying a little bit of their cinnamon roll Imperial Ale while we're doing the podcast.
Yes,
so
and we'll
tell you what
all
we think
about
about it. We may have already told you what we think about it, but we'll Sometimes that changes, though.
No,
as we
it
go
does,
on.
because when you get if it's too much of a good thing, it just becomes sickly.
Yeah.
Or if it just changes over time, like that first sip, you get that flavor and then you can't get it again. It's
Yeah.
like when you do crack. You
I don't know.
take that first hit and you get that first high, and then you can never get it back.
A couple of things we want to talk about here early on. I don't know which to go with. Let's go with the 100. This is our 100th episode.
We should
of
have
this epic
music
disaster.
playing.
We
Okay.
can't afford rights to any music, so I have to sing. And by the way, I'm charging you. I'm charging us for that song I just did. 100th.
Yeah.
Well, I've never done 100 of anything, I don't think.
Other than wake up 100 times.
Our previous podcast, Life to Kill podcast, we didn't do 100. This is 100. I don't know. Now it feels weird. You know what's really weird is when
What?
I'm typing out the episodes, there's three numbers in it.
digits.
Instead, I feel official now.
It's like
even
magic.
though the podcast is, it's not one of the top podcasts in the country.
Are you
Let's
sure
be-
about that?
Let's be serious.
We're gonna have
Let's
to look
be
into that.
Truthful. But still, 100. We've been doing it 100. I think a lot of people would have given up by now.
I think so.
I don't know if it shows how dumb we are or how stubborn we are.
I think there is something you've done 100 times.
What?
You've had sex with your wife 100 times.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to count it up, but I don't know.
In a year, even 100
In a
times in a
year?
year. Every three.
Wait a
and a
minute.
half
Why are you
days.
talking about me? My wife. Are you there counting? Hiding behind with a
I
little,
have one of those little clickers.
digital counters. Go. I don't know if I'll call that sex.
Oh, that was
That doesn't
oops.
count.
Nope.
Okay, 100 episodes of this epic disaster. Did you think we would do it? Did you think we'd get that far?
No.
I don't know.
Did I say that a little quickly?
Maybe.
Okay.
But I mean, there were some times. Okay, so I guess if I am truthful, I think because Life to Kill podcast kind of just sort of died out at the end.
Yeah, it just fizzled.
And I believed that this one would eventually sort of do that.
I
And
thought
there-
it would too. I thought we'd get bored, or I thought that we wouldn't have anything to talk about, or I thought it would just become a chore. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes it does feel a little like a chore when we're busy and rushed and whatnot, but it's still fun while we're doing it.
Yeah, and two, the thing about toward the end of the previous podcast, I felt like we did everything we can do.
Right.
We've talked about everything we can talk about when it comes to like kilt stuff and Celtic stuff. I mean, I just felt like we were sort of rehashing, and like with this podcast, we're at episode 100, and I feel like there's so much more we can do that we haven't done.
Yeah, and there's so many things that we keep talking about doing that we don't.
Well, part of it is our schedules, working out schedules, getting together. We're not professional podcasters.
No, we are not.
We don't get paid for any of this.
No, we do not.
But yeah, I mean, it is one of those things where we got to kind of get together. Like our schedules, we want to do interviews. We've had interviews, like nationally known people have agreed to be on our show.
And then we've dropped the ball.
And we couldn't do it because we couldn't get our schedules together. That's something we've got to sort of kind of work on, I guess.
So here's something that I'm sorry. I'm a little bit phlegmy today, and I
Well,
apologize.
Me
for
too.
that.
It's allergy stuff.
So, okay, here's the thing is you and I have this thing that we both do that is really not healthy. When we say, hey, we should do this. So if I say, hey, Rick, we should schedule that interview. I mean, hey, Rick, you should schedule that interview. But you do it too. When you say, Cheri, we should do this. What you mean is, Cheri, you should do this. So it never gets done.
I don't know. I feel like that. You have a job where you have, and I don't know the hours. I'm just saying 9 to 5. You have just a regularly scheduled job, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
My job fluctuates a little bit, and so like in the podcast, I'm in charge of editing. I'm in charge of posting it. I'm in charge of writing all the blurbs, doing all of the stuff, putting everything up.
Correct.
And that's my job. And so I feel like sometimes it defaults to me to kind of put everything together. And I don't know, I don't really mind, but when it comes to scheduling, that's something we both have to do. And I also feel like it's our podcast, not my podcast. So I feel like, I sometimes push you maybe a little bit harder to see if you will come up with some things on your own.
And I try to. I really do try to.
Yeah.
I just, get lazy or forget or,
Well, let's talk a little bit
just
about.
be me.
I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I kind of wanted to do like what are your favorite things that we've done on the podcast so far, and then what do you think would be some cool things to do in the future?
So, wow. So what happened just now when you asked me that question is some of my least favorite things popped into my head.
Really? Well, we could talk about those too.
Okay. So one of the things I really did not enjoy doing was when we went out and stuck a microphone in people's faces. That made me very, very uncomfortable.
I like that. Why did we do that? I know it was around Christmas time, but we were asking people.
We were asking people a specific question about
I don't remember the
New Year's resolutions.
Oh, that's right. I know
Yeah.
it was around Christmas time.
Yeah.
I like doing that, but maybe a different way of doing it.
Yeah.
I feel like that it's cool to get other people involved. I like the interviewing other people, but we tried our thing, and I will try it again, where we set up in a restaurant and be our guest.
Yeah,
It's been a while since we've been able to do that, but I like that idea, just having just regular people be on the show.
It just I don't interact with people very easily or very comfortably, I suppose. I mean, I do, but when I'm asking them to do something for me, that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that whole thing just kind of made me uncomfortable at the market when we went and asked those questions. But the be our guest thing, I mean, if I've had a couple drinks, that is, I wouldn't mind.
Well, when you're doing a podcast, we're both kind of introverts, but I think when you're doing a podcast, you have to, you're an entertainer. You got to play the part. You got to get in there and you're on the mic, and I just think that that's part of the show.
One thing that I wanted to be desperately, desperately fun, and it turned out to just be a whirlwind of not funness, was the Halloween parade that we've talked about immensely over the last 3 or 4 episodes, and I know that, I'm sorry, but it was funner just getting ready for the damn thing than it was actually being there.
That was kind of destroyed by an act of God, though. I mean, it was like if you had a contract that says, act of God. That's what that would be. It was ruined by totally beyond our control. We were ready for it. We had great costumes. We had all the stuff we needed, and then things happened.
I agree.
And so maybe next year it won't. But I mean, also in that situation, ours wasn't the only plans that were ruined. There were a lot of people who built floats and things like that. So, what are you going to do? But there's Christmas parades and there's opportunities. But I would say that my favorite thing that we've done, first of all, is sort of change the format of the show.
Okay.
So we started off, if you listen to like the first 5, 6, 7 shows.
Maybe even 10 or 12.
Yeah, we really focused on disasters. So we were like, we thought it would be fun, like, to really focus on like disasters and overcoming disasters. And then we sort of realized that, wait a minute, the disaster is us.
We are the disaster.
Disaster is our lives and the things that happen in our lives and other people's lives too.
And we can talk about that.
But it's mostly about us overcoming life and the disaster. So then it was just like, okay, let's just make it about us and the things we like and the things we're interested in and how we interact with people. And so it became much more freeing when we did that.
I agree.
Feel like, and a little more fun.
Yeah.
And then it gave us a lot more possibilities. And so my other favorite thing about the podcast, so when we started, again, and I don't mean to compare because they're two totally different podcasts, but when we started Life in a Kilt podcast, it started kind of low, but then it reached a little bit of a height. It did pretty good number-wise, downloads.
Sure.
And then gradually slipped.
Yeah. Because people were like, okay, I've heard enough.
Yeah, well, I think people were like, oh, let's listen about kilts. And then they're like, this is not about kilts.
This is about these two crazy people who have screwed up lives.
So the downloads gradually just dropped off. So with this podcast, we started at a decently high number, I guess, for a beginning podcast. And it never really changed. It stayed right there for a long time. And then this summer, I noticed a drop.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, crap.
Here we go.
We're going to lose our audience.
Here we go.
But I also know that podcasts, at least from the past, that podcasts kind of drop a little bit in the summer.
Yeah, because people get busy and they go on vacation and they have things and their kids are out of school and all that.
And so like the last 2 podcasts we've done, maybe the last 4, our numbers are back. So people have started listening again. So that's I guess that would be one of my favorite things is our listeners, because we don't have a lot of listeners.
No,
we
do
don't
not.
have we have tons and tons of listeners. So we have a small group of faithful listeners. And I like that they interact with us. I like that they're not afraid to post things. They're not afraid to comment. They're not afraid to. We did our little Halloween stories, and we got submissions. So people aren't afraid to interact, and people are willing to kind of be involved. And that's what makes this worth doing.
I think it's fun, especially when it's somebody that I know.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds weird. I can't ask all of my friends to listen to the podcast, and I can't have just my friends listen to the podcast. I want everybody to.
Yeah.
This is for friends only. You have to be part of my group. No, you don't. But when the people that do know me comment to me after the fact over text or something like that, and they're like, I laughed so hard when you said blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't remember saying.
I know.
But okay, great,
And that's why we do it.
That interaction is fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to me, and it makes me want to go back and listen to it again to say, did I say anything stupid? Which is likely because I've said stupid things.
And so when we tell people, interact with us, that's what we're doing is we're just saying that's our fun. That's how we have the fun.
Yeah.
Because we've met people, and now they have nicknames and they're characters on our show.
Right.
That just have said, I want to be involved. So that's all it takes is just being involved. And so we try to encourage that, and we try to reward you with, I don't know, stickers, whatever, that we can. It's our simple little way. But that's one of the things I hope continues and even grows into the next 100 episodes. And so that's sort of where I want to go now is like, what do we do on the next 100s? And I don't know that there'll be huge changes, but I do feel like that we keep saying we want to do the interviews, and I do want to bring in more interviews, but more ways to get people involved, more ways to have fun.
Yeah.
Just, I think what we do and how we do it is not going to change a lot. There are some features we're talking about adding, some fun things that we're going to talk about adding. But we always want to hear from people what they like. And if they're like, I hate that part, why don't you stop doing that?
If everybody could please write in and say that they hate the missed connections, I would be really great.
Those are fun, except they're becoming more porny.
Yeah, it's all just porn now because nobody meets like that anymore.
Well, they do. I try to, weed through them and pull out all the porn stuff. I say those for myself, but I do try to read the ones that at least seem a little bit legitimate, but I'm not going to do any today.
Okay, good. What we should do today, I'm sorry, were you done?
No, I was going to say that was my kind of goals for the future. I mean, as far as I know, we're going to keep this up. And so if we do like 200 more,
that's what he said. 200
more, I just feel like have the same kind of fun we're having now, but let's look at more ways to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do. I do want to say that we have talked about some live events.
Yes.
That we want to do.
And I think that now that we've hit 100 and we actually still have people listening to us, now that gives me a little more confidence to do a live show. I
would like to do a live show out, but also we're talking about sponsoring some live events.
Right.
That we're not really going to talk about yet. I don't know. Should we just go ahead and say it?
You're so cryptic.
No, I don't want to commit to something that we haven't really gotten into. But one of the things we've talked about is sponsoring a night of comedy locally.
Yep.
Bring in some comedians. I don't know if we'll do national, but maybe. But I mean, Atlanta has tons of comics.
They come and go, and then the ones that actually are based here, so many people could get involved with this.
And this is a side thing, and I'm not going to mention names, but I will say that when you left the Life in a Cult podcast, I did a little ad trying to get people, like I wanted to get a partner because I didn't want to do it by myself. And a comedian submitted her resume. And now she's nationally known. She's a regular on The Daily Show.
Nice.
Could you imagine if she had been on our show? I probably held her back, but anyway.
It probably would have ruined her career, actually.
Yeah, so there's a lot of talent here. And I think a night of comedy that we sponsor would be fun. If you're out there, you have any other ideas? Atlanta's not too far of a drive for a lot of people. So you may not live in Atlanta, but you can make it for an event. And then maybe we'll just find a little place where we could do a little live recording.
Yeah. So if anybody out there has a venue that they want to either donate or give us a discount on, or if you know comedians, improv folks, anything like that, let us know. Give us their names, if get their permission first, and then we can maybe try and put that together in the next few months. That might be fun, something fun to do in the spring, maybe when people are starting to get out of their houses again. So let us know.
Okay.
So what I'd like to do now is I would like to do a would you rather.
Okay.
And then I want to tell you about my morning.
Okay. And then I got to do that Florida thing.
That's right. So we're going to play a would you rather. And what that is we drop a stone, and whatever color we drop corresponds to a question that we ask.
We have five colorful stones here in our hands. Cheri's going to drop a red one.
It's green.
I meant to say green.
Yep.
And I'm going to read. Green is ethics and intellect.
I have neither.
Which we're in severe lack here. Would you rather own up to breaking a friend's No. Own up to breaking a friend's $5,000. Is it vase or vase?
It's vase, because if you say vase, I will punch you in the vase.
Well, if it's $5,000, it's a vase.
Okay.
Or blame it on someone else who has since left the country and will likely never see your host again.
What?
I already know which one I'm picking.
So wait a second. This person that lives in another country, this person is also my person's friend? Like we were at a party or something?
Yeah, so you own up to breaking a friend's $5,000 vase, or blame it on someone who has since left the country and will likely never see your host again.
Never see them, but they can certainly find them. I am not throwing somebody under the bus.
Oh, I totally would.
What?
Yeah. So you would tell them that you broke the $5,000 vase?
Absolutely.
No, the person that's gone.
No,
the person out of the country. Yeah, they're never going to see them. The host, it'll never be known. It might as well. Why would you ruin your friendship when someone else could take the fall?
Hold on. If I'm friends with somebody who, if I break a vase, it's going to ruin our friendship. Maybe I don't want to be friends with that person.
It's a $5,000. Wait a minute. First of all, do you have any friends who own a $5,000 vase? I think at that point, I don't know. I'm going to be dropping a blue one.
No, you're not. No, but honestly, think about it. If your friendship is so fragile that if you break an expensive object of theirs by accident, they're gonna turn around and end your friendship. That's a pretty non-necessary.
It's a
friendship.
no-lose situation. The other person is going to completely take the fall. You're spotless. I would do it.
You're such a jerk. Yeah, you said blue, but it turned out to be yellow. Yellow is for random. So your question, Rick, is would you rather discover that your lover had a sex change operation?
Oh, that was always one of my little scenarios when I was dating.
Right. Or
just think about that.
Find out that he or she was in an insane asylum for 10 years.
Well, I already married somebody.
I know you did.
I've had a few marriages that would fit into that. I don't know. So sex change operation.
Right. So I married
your
wife.
A former dude who now has a vagina.
Correct.
And if it's a good surgery, then I don't know what difference it makes.
Exactly.
Really. But there would always be that thing in the back of my head that would be there. That would know, but I don't know. I thought about this a lot. We talked about it some, but I thought about it a lot when I was dating. But I also thought, what if I'm dating this hot woman, then I get her back and she's got a wiener? What would I do?
And what would you do?
A wiener's not for me. I mean. It is for me.
You're not judgmental and you're not like condemning it at all.
Well, I'm just not. I don't have. Well, see, that's weird. I'd say I don't have attractions to someone with a Johnson. Mm-hmm. And should I only use
derogatory penis terms?
Those are derogatory.
Why not?
But I don't know. If you're attracted to them. So this would be, though, like if it's first date and you think, oh, she's cute, and then it goes farther and then you find Mr. Happy, then that's one thing. But if you meet this person and she's like, no, we're not going to have sex for a while, and then you go on several dates and you really start falling in love with the person, and then you find Willy Wonka.
Well, hold on. You're off the subject now. You've gone on a tangent. You took a train to a whole other situation and scenario. What I said was, and I quote, discover that your lover had a sex change operation. So this is already your lover.
No, I already picked mine. I'm elaborating on something else.
So what did you pick?
Well, I think I picked
the insane asylum.
I picked the sex change. That's what I said. If it has been a change and the person physically is a female, what's the deal? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. Okay. I agree with you. But you can continue on that train if
no,
you
I
like.
was just, all I was saying is I feel like there's a different scenario if it's someone that you meet like immediately and you're just kind of like, oh, she's cute. And then you find out, boink, boink, boink. Or you date for a while, you actually fall in love, and then you get the big reveal. I think the two would be very difficult. I mean, they're very different, but one would be more difficult to actually deal with because you've already fallen in love with this person.
Can I ask you a question?
Maybe.
This is.
I'm a little concerned.
Don't be concerned. This is a question that I would like to ask everybody. Actually, it just popped in my head. Do you think it is possible to completely fall in love with someone without physical intimacy happening first? Like, okay, say you're falling for somebody. Okay, say you are actually starting to have genuine feelings for this person, for their mind and their spirit and their, just personality and everything, but you haven't actually been physically intimate with them. Do you
Now, when you say physically intimate, does that include kissing? Does that include, that kind of stuff? Or are you just talking about going to bed?
I'm talking about any kind of physical intimacy, including necking and making out.
So you're just buddies. You've fallen in love with your buddy, your best
Right.
friend, and there's been no physical stuff,
Right.
but you've fallen.
Do you think that you are that it's possible to actually fall in love completely with someone without any physical intimacy?
There are people who get married and don't have sex until the first. I mean, you say physical intimacy. That if it includes kissing, I mean, it happens. Sure, it is possible.
Okay. Do you think
Maybe not preferable, but it's possible.
Do you think that physical intimacy makes that bond stronger? Or do you think it has any effect on it at all?
It depends on the couple. I mean, it doesn't have to. There are people who get married and never have sex. They're asexual. Sex is not a part of their life.
Right.
I don't know if I should mention the name, but Janine Garofalo.
Yeah.
That's what she says. She's married and she says they don't have sex. She's asexual.
That's true.
It's not a sexual relationship.
Right.
Which would be a bummer if you're married to Janine.
Right.
But that's a whole different story. But I mean, that's her choice, and that's what.
Well, it's not her choice. That's her sexuality.
Yeah, but I mean, it is kind of a choice. You still, even if it is your sexuality, you have a choice whether you want to do it or not.
That's true.
So, I mean, but she's in a relationship where she's free not to. She's free to be herself. And I'm assuming in those relationships, the partner is the same way. It could be whatever the arrangement is, that the partner maybe can explore sex with someone else. I know that I've heard of those kind of relationships.
Sure.
Where they're close and they're intimate and they're married, but one of them can get sex somewhere else. I don't know.
Okay.
That doesn't work for me. But that's, I
was just
certainly
curious.
think it's fine.
I was just curious on your thoughts because I know my thoughts.
Totally. I do believe that. I don't think physical is a necessity, the physical part of a relationship. It's certainly a fun part, but again, to some people it might not be.
See, for me, okay, so my thoughts on this are, yes, it's completely possible to fall in love with someone with no physical intimacy happening prior to falling in love with them.
Yes.
But one of my love languages is
bonking.
No.
I know that. I know that about you.
Physical affection.
Yes.
So that for me, anyways, strengthens that bond.
Sure. Okay.
So I just wondered if I mean, I won't say that I won't. Okay, I just said it. It is completely possible to fall in love.
Yeah.
But that helps.
Yeah, but again, that is your language.
Right.
Not everybody has that. So some people it works. For some people it works. For some people it doesn't work. For you, it might work for a certain amount of time, but you're always going to be frustrated because you want that kind of to cap it off or complete it. Not in a perverted way necessarily. Maybe there's part of that too. I'm not going to ask, but just because it fulfills you, and that's the fulfillment of a relationship to you. It's part of intimacy for you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not just talking about sex. I'm talking about just touching,
sure,
and just physical affection
and wrestling. I remember that. That was frustrating.
Don't bring it up.
That's very frustrating.
Don't bring it up.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Okay, so sorry.
I've personally had relationships where I've been extremely attracted to someone and that I never had ended up having those kind of
But what
physical
were you
stuff.
in love with them?
I mean, it could be argued. I don't know. It could be lust, but it's somebody that I would have known, maybe a friend or something, and it just never developed into that.
Never came to fruition.
I would the feelings, and love as a feeling is a ridiculous concept anyway. It really cheapens love. It's not what love is. It's not what love is about.
Agreed.
But it's established in our society that that's what love is. So if you're using that as a definition, yeah, I've had friends who I would say I was pretty close to being in love with.
Okay.
And but that had I never even touched the person.
Right.
In real life.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
I had a dream.
You were touching people in your dream.
I was touching people in the dream. I haven't had a sex dream in a really long time.
Oh, do I have to listen to your sex dreams?
No, I'm not going to tell you the dream because there's intimate things about me that nobody needs to know in that dream. But I'm just saying I had one, and
Everybody doesn't need to know. Let's
very
just say
good. Just so everybody knows now. But okay, sorry, I went off on my own tangent there.
Yeah, your dream. You're not going to talk about it. It was just a teaser.
I was just
You're just
saying
trying
that
to
I
get
had a
everybody
sex
moist.
dream, and I like that word.
Oh my God.
Moist.
Was that in your dream? I had a dream. I had a weird dream. I wasn't going to talk about it. I'll tell you basically what it is just because I find it fascinating. Early this morning, so I woke up about 3 o'clock. I did a meditation on YouTube. There was a guided meditation. I did this meditation, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but basically the meditation was transcending the fake self and discovering your true self. So all this spiritual stuff. But anyway, so then I did that, which lasted about 30 minutes, I think, and then I went to sleep. So I had this dream, and in my dream, I was driving my old work van, and I'm in a traffic jam, and I thought, I'm not moving, no one's moving, I'm going to get out of the van, go to my house and do some things, and then I'll come back and get in the van.
Okay.
And by the way, people do that in Atlanta traffic
All
the
the
time. So I do that, and I'm involved in this thing in the house, and I'm like, holy crap, I forgot to go back to the van. I thought people are going to be so pissed off because they can't move. They're all stuck behind my van. So I go out, and we were in like a parking garage, and I went through the parking. I couldn't find the crowd was gone, so I figured my van is parked somewhere. I couldn't find it anywhere. There were things that were keeping me from getting to parts of the parking garage to get to the van, so I couldn't get there. So I never could find my van.
Huh.
And so I thought, isn't that weird? Like I have this guided meditation about transcending the old self, the fake self,
right,
the no self, and getting in touch with the real self. And in the dream, I abandoned my old van, which could be symbolic of the old self, and I never could find it again. I just leave it, and I think I'll come back, and then I lost it.
So does that mean you transcended your van?
Apparently, in the dream, I did.
You transcended.
And at one time, there was this tiger. It was like a tiger cub. And I can't remember now. It was either wearing a hat or it was wearing socks. It was wearing some kind of human thing. I don't know. But it came up to me and I thought, oh, this is going to bite me. And then it was very friendly and I pet it.
I wonder
Kinda
what
like
goes on in your head.
Wild animal that was tamed, I guess. So there's a lot of interesting things in here. But I just thought, I don't know. I just found it really strange that I had this meditation and then I leave my old van, which is like, that's like the perfect metaphor.
You transcended your van and you pet a tiger with socks on.
In my dream, and this is what I dream of. I'm sorry. Not that interesting. I did want to talk about Florida really quick.
Yes, please.
All right, so you know me. I'm not a beach person. I don't like the beach. I've been to several beaches. When I was a kid, spent my summers in Fort Lauderdale. My grandmother lived there, and we would be going to the beach was always a part of what we would do. And as a kid, it was fun.
Yeah.
As I got older, I didn't care for it as much. And so I don't like salt water. I don't like seaweed. I don't like sun.
You don't like heat.
No.
You don't like any of it.
I don't like that whole thing. And the sand, just the air itself is sticky. I'm just not a big fan of it.
You don't like salt air.
No. So like several years ago, I went to Myrtle Beach on a job. It was at Christmas time. It was like the week before Christmas. I was sitting on the balcony in a condo on the beach. So I was just sitting on the porch looking out at the ocean. It's beautiful. But I was just like, whatever. I don't care. This is not my thing.
Right.
But it was interesting. And then so last year, we went to Florida on a job at Port St. Lucie.
Okay.
and went to the beach, and it was fun. But like my wife went with it. She just freaked out. She loves the beach, and the guy who works with me is a beach person. But I'm just like, okay, whatever.
You're just here for them. Yeah.
So we went to the beach. We did a job right outside of Destin, Florida.
This time?
We stayed in Destin.
Okay.
In a condo, which was on the beach. And I'd never been to Destin before. And so I found a beach that I actually really liked.
Really?
What the crap?
Tell us about it.
Have you ever been to Destin?
No, I haven't. I've only been to Florida twice.
Destin is... And I've heard people talk about Destin like it's some magical place, and I just thought they were out of their mind.
Right. I've heard it too.
So I went. Destin. It's like. Speaking of dreams, it's like being in a dream. It's so beautiful that it's almost like fake. It's like, who came in and built this? It's like paradise.
Wow.
The sand is like salt. It's white sand, no seaweed. The ocean was like I don't know, diamond, like crystal blue with a little bit of green. The first night it was just like blue, and I stood there and watched the sunset. It was like crazy.
Yeah, you sent me a picture.
Yeah, and so like the next day, I noticed that the water had taken a little bit of a green kind of tint. But we stood there on the beach. You could have heard any noise. It was so quiet. No wind. There was no waves. Nothing. It was just perfectly peaceful.
That's amazing.
The temperature was kind of in my area of temperature, which was, I think, below 50. So that made it more pleasant. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I've never seen a beach more beautiful than that. It was just really... And so and then not just the beach, but the beach. But not just the beach. Let's just driving down, I don't know, when I've gone to beaches before... You have these kind of beach cabanas and I don't know, these little condos and stuff, and they just seem like they're kind of eaten up by salt water and I don't know, they're
ratty.
Just not. Yeah.
I mean, they a little tattered.
Yeah.
By wind and salt and
every place. I mean, miles and miles and miles looked like it had just been built yesterday. Beautiful, immaculate, perfectly painted. Nothing. I mean, landscape was gorgeous. Everything.
Really?
And it was kind of like that everywhere we went. Even just like they were building a Taco Bell, but it just looked fantastic. It looked like a very classy Taco Bell.
Classy.
So I'm kind of sold. I'm gonna take my wife. I think at her birthday back. And
does she know that yet?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it.
Okay. So I've heard
Destin.
I've heard wonderful stories about Destin, but I have a question for you because you didn't specify. Did you walk down to the water?
Mm-hmm. We were on the beach.
You got your feet in?
No.
Okay. Wait.
When you said water, you meant water. No.
Yes.
I walked on the sand. You said walk to the water. I didn't know
you're
you
right.
were gonna
I did.
Get in it.
You're
I
right.
walked on the sand. Now I could have. I was on the beach, so but I'm not going to do that. No. But the sand was amazing. It's magical. I was sold on it. It's just gorgeous.
I also hear it's extremely expensive to live in Destin.
Very, very expensive. But it's the first time. Now I've always felt like if I was in a beach in Maine or somewhere like that, I would be at home. I would love it. But it's the first like southern beach that I've been to that I thought, all right, maybe I could live here.
And how long is that drive from Atlanta?
About 5 hours, I think it was. 5 hours, yeah.
Okay, I could do that.
No, it's easily. You can do it easy.
Well, it took me 5 hours to get to Panama City Beach.
Well, the condo we stayed in, I asked the place we did the work. They paid for the condo, and so I said, "Give me the name because I want to come back here and stay." It was a really nice place, and the guy whoever owns it is from Atlanta, so that'd be kind of easy. But during the off season is where you do it because it's so much cheaper. And there's a hotel that we stayed in. Oh, I wish I could remember the name. When we went down for kind of exploratory thing, we just down there for overnight, and we stayed in this hotel. I want to say it was like Spring something anyway.
Okay.
But it was on the beach in Destin, and
it wasn't a Spring Hill Suites, was it?
No, it was sort of an off-brand kind of thing. I've never heard it before. It looked the hotel looked like it was formerly a Comfort Inn or something.
Okay.
But it was one of the most well-managed independent hotel chains I've ever been across. Clean, just really, really a nice, comfortable. And I think we paid $70-something to stay in it.
Now, mind you, it is off season.
That's what I'm saying. Go
Yeah.
the off season. But this was a hotel with like 13 floors at the beach and that cheap.
Wow.
So off season is where you do it, and it's still comfortable. And that's why I'm saying I could live there, because in the off season it does get down below 50. So I just like Atlanta, I just sweat out the hot season and then enjoy the off season. So
I wonder if I have a weekend trip happening in November now.
you should look at it. Destin, it's kind of cool.
Well, thank you for. I'm sorry.
I ate shrimp. I'm vegetarian. I ate shrimp and I almost threw up.
What?
Yeah, I almost vomited. I almost puked it up. I got sick.
No, you didn't.
I did, but I don't think it was because
Why
of the
would
shrimp.
you go with a shellfish option after not eating meat for 25 years?
I just wanted to try it, and shrimp is something I sort of like. But I've done it twice. No, 3 times. So I had some fish when I was
Right.
with my wife one night. I tried it out.
Yeah.
It was the first time I'd had meat in 30-something years. And then last time I went to Destin, I had some popcorn shrimp. Vile. I was like, this is nasty. I mean, it's just greasy. Ugh. So this time we went to a better restaurant. I had their shrimp platter, which had shrimp cooked 4 different ways. Ooh. So it was grilled, peel and eat, like boiled shrimp.
Yes.
Battered, and I can't remember the other one.
Sauteed, maybe? Like a shrimp scampi kind of a thing?
Maybe buttered, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, those kind of shrimps. And so I had them. They were fine. But what I discovered is I'm okay with my diet. I think I'm over the meat. Now, if we're talking chicken, it might have been a little different.
It might have been.
I've had it 3 different times, seafood 3 different times. It's not going to change my mind. So I'm okay with eating how I eat.
Here's what happened when you started talking about your shrimp 4 ways. Bubba Gump came into my head.
Yeah.
And, he started talking about all his shrimp.
They had a Bubba Gump down there, but we didn't eat it.
Yeah, I hear it's expensive.
I don't know.
Great. So Florida, Destin.
Yes. I didn't mean to be a Florida commercial.
Gotta
it was
make
more
it
of a
happen.
commercial just for the beach itself.
Right.
And there's so many people listening right now that's like, oh, yeah, we know.
We've been there.
Yeah.
Well, some of us
Catch up.
haven't,
Well, I know, but I mean, I didn't, when people talk about things that are really cool, sometimes they're not that cool. And they're just cool for those people. I think Destin is one of those things that's like, I really just thought, this is beach people. This is what makes beach people happy. And I'm not a beach people. So I just thought it's not going to be for me. But going there, and then I was like, oh, this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that feeling that you're talking about. Matter of fact, they make memes about that feeling. When somebody geeks out or nerds out about something that they really like and the other person just kind of glazes over and they don't get it. Mm-hmm. I always get it. When somebody gets super hyped about something, I am into it. I'm like, that's awesome. That's great.
But it doesn't always, it's not always something for you. I mean,
True.
Not always.
Okay.
You're going to the Oddities Fair today. You're going to go see some oddities.
I am, but let me tell you how my day started.
Okay. Was it an odd way?
Excuse me. It wasn't an odd way, actually.
Okay.
I got out of bed. I slept in just a little bit. I took the dog out at like 4 o'clock in the morning and then went back to bed. So I slept in and I got up naked because,
Hello.
I sleep naked.
Nude.
So I got up.
We do nudity on the show.
We
Actually,
do.
we just talk about it. Sorry.
How do you know? Why are you lying?
What do you mean?
I do nudity on this show.
Oh, so far you haven't.
Under my clothes.
Oh, that's true. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so...
We did one time threaten to do a hot tub show, which I still think we should do.
Oh, God, no.
The
Wait.
whole show in the hot tub.
Let me lose like 50 pounds.
Well, we don't have to broadcast it. And I've seen you fat. I mean...
Thank you for that.
This is a joke.
Thank you for that. So, okay.
See, we have the kind of relationship where I could say that, and you don't break down crying in front of me anyway. You go home.
I go home and
eat a lot of ice cream
and hide in my bed and cry. He thinks I'm fat. Okay, so this morning I come out of my bedroom naked, and I live in above a garage, so with no close neighbors, not super close, anyways. So I leave my blinds open, right?
Okay.
So this morning I walk out into the kitchen, and out my kitchen window, I see a man's face, like right there, like 10 feet from the window.
Hello.
He's not looking in the window.
But he wishes he
but
was.
He's like right there. And so I'm thinking, like, I just woke up. So I'm confused as to how is this man's head like eye level with my kitchen window. And then I'm like, oh shit, I'm not wearing anything. So I just turn around and book it back into the bedroom.
See, that's the wrong choice. What you do, you see somebody like that, and you just grab your boobs and aim them at him, going, pew, 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 pew. And then the dude sees you, and he's like,
what the fuck?
yeah. He's got this mixture of, okay, I'm looking at naked, but I'm looking at crazy naked.
Crazy naked. That's
Yeah.
right.
No one wants to look at crazy naked for long.
I've done crazy naked.
And
I can
just-
do crazy naked.
Yeah.
Pew, pew.
Yeah.
This is fun. I should
Naked
do this more
boobs
often.
shooting at me. That would be scary. I kind of have. I don't walk around naked much. I don't walk around semi-naked much, but occasionally I will. And I'm always afraid. What if like the what's the
Spit it, Baldwin.
insect killer?
The Roundup? No, I don't know what you're talking
Who are
about.
the people who come and kill the insects in your house?
Exterminators.
Yes, I'm always afraid that they're outside like doing their thing and
Also known as wannabe Daleks.
yeah, like
Okay, so I'm there. I go put clothes on, and while I'm in my bedroom, I look at pew, pew. I look at my phone, and I see a text from my landlord that goes, "Oh crap."
put your clothes back on.
No, she's just like, I forgot the guys are here to do the work, and I'm like, oh yeah.
I shot them both. Thanks for telling me.
So then I go and I'm like, and they're in front of my garage. I'm like, I need to move my car. I need to leave in an hour, right? So I get out there. I go straight downstairs just in whatever I threw on. And I open my garage door and they're already laying things out in front of the garage. And I'm like, what the hell? I need to get my car out of here. So anyways.
Move your stuff.
Right. Finally get my car out.
not
They
their
had to
fault.
put everything back. No, it's not their fault. They're just doing their job. I
Yeah.
get it. So I move my car out. I go park on the street. I go back in the house and I start getting ready to go. So I'm getting ready to go and I'm going to this oddities event, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I'm going to this event and I wanted to, just in case I saw something I couldn't live without or that I thought somebody else couldn't live without, I wanted to make sure that I took a credit card that had money on it. See, personally, I don't
Important.
I don't take credit cards out of the house unless I intend to use them.
Sure.
Because it's just too tempting if you always have them with you. So I'm looking for a specific credit card that I know how much is on it, and I can't find it. It's not with my other credit cards.
Oh,
It's not there. And I'm trying, and it's not one I use a lot. So I'm like, when was the last time I used this credit card? And I just paid a payment on it yesterday, so I know the balance. Nobody's touched it. Nothing has been charged on it, but where the hell is this card?
wait, were you still naked at this time?
No, I
Oh.
was getting ready to leave the house.
Oh, okay.
And I only rarely leave the house naked.
I was going to say, it might be better to look for the credit card when you have
Clothes on.
clothes and stuff on.
Yeah. So I'm looking for this card and I can't find it. I look everywhere it could possibly be. It's not there. I get into my car to leave. It's not there again. I have to call. I had to call this morning and cancel the card I wanted to use.
Oh, that's not good at all.
because I couldn't find it.
And then you immediately going to find it now. As soon as
I
you go back
probably
to
will.
work.
I probably will, but it's been canceled now. So it'll just have to get cut up and thrown away. And they're sending me a new one. And they said 2 to 3 weeks.
They always say that, and then it shows up like a couple of days. I think they say that just to kind of
Just
get
in
people.
case.
Yeah, you don't want to wait. Because people will be calling all the time and going, I've been waiting for 4 days.
Yeah, yeah. So anyways, I did grab a different card. One I didn't really want to use. But again, if I see something that I can't live without,
Right.
I got to have it.
But, okay, so you're going to the oddities thing, which is basically, it's like a convention
Yeah.
of weird stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I'll look it up really quick and I'll tell you what it is.
One of the things that I've noticed, and I noticed that it's sold out, they have a taxidermy class.
That's not my thing.
I know. Well, see, that's what my wife was saying. She's like, is Cheri going to be freaked out by all of the stuffed animals and stuff? Because that's part of it.
I know.
There's a lot of weird. There was a TV show, and I don't know if it still exists, called Oddities.
Yes,
And it was like oddity shops, I think, mostly in New York. Mm-hmm. And one of my heroes, Edgar Oliver, was on it.
Yeah, I love Edgar Oliver's voice.
I know. I wish.
I want to have a guided meditation by Edgar.
Oh, that would be
Oliver.
cool. I want to have him on the show, but he should be like a a lot of times the conventions will bring people in. He should be one of the people that they bring in. He's kind of an oddity, and I think he'll be okay with that.
He is. He's kind of an oddity by himself.
Yeah, but he's the kind of oddity I think is very interesting. And
So this is the last show they're doing in Atlanta this year. And it's basically oddities and curiosities, and it's
Yeah.
kind of an expo. And
So it's sort of like an antique market with freaky stuff.
yes. antiques.
Yes.
They're going to have things like taxidermy, wet and dry preserved specimens.
That sounded like me.
Doesn't say what kind of specimens, but wet and dry preserved specimens. Yeah. They'll have antiques. They'll have jewelry made from bones, skulls, and insects.
Ooh.
They have original artwork, which is what I'm
Yeah,
after.
I like to see that. Some of that's good.
And then they have skulls and bones just laying around, curiosities, and all-around creepy, strange, and bizarre items. Now, the things I'm interested in seeing today, and I'll tell you on our next podcast if I bought anything or what I saw, and I'm going to take a lot of pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested... Maybe. I'm interested in the artwork, the original artwork, and I'm also interested in, you see, especially on that TV show that was Oddities, the old medical equipment.
Sure, yeah.
And the old, doctor kits and the old, like, vampire killer kits and, things like that. Antiques is what I'm after.
Yeah.
Actual pieces of actual items that people used. I'm kind of into that.
Well, Atlanta being such a film industry town,
yeah,
you would think there'll be a lot of prop people there looking for
I bet.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times it's actual. It's not like steampunk where people build it. These are like things that people actually used back in the old days, in the 1800s or whatever.
Or even, 18, 19.
I think the thing that would creep me out the most, and I bet you this exists, is like animals and possibly even like human fetuses and stuff in formaldehyde jars.
Well, I think that's what wet specimens means.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to have wet and dry preserved specimens. So
I don't think I could look at that. Like two-headed dogs and things like that. Oh, no. I can't handle that.
That makes me kind of sad.
I mean, they exist. I just gotta look
it's
at
a thing. And here's the thing to remember. In most of those cases where animals are born with two heads and that kind of thing, they die naturally.
Sure.
They're not murdered just because they're different. They just have medical issues and die naturally. So the fact that somebody is intrigued enough by them and wants to learn from them to see how to not make another dog suffer, that they preserve them like that, and maybe they're doing it just because it's weird and creepy. Well, I don't know, but I think it's okay. It doesn't bother me as much as the taxidermy does. And the only reason the taxidermy bothers me is because there's no way you went and picked up a roadkill and made it look that good.
Well, sometimes, but most of the time it is a hunted thing.
Yes.
But you like weird stuff like that. What you used to watch TV shows of people having surgeries on their eyes and weird, like cutting into. I can't do that.
I love stuff like that.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
There's a show that I don't even know if it's still on because I don't have cable anymore, called Monsters Inside Me.
It is on. I saw it the other day.
Where
you've talked about it.
The parasites and things inside people.
No,
I love that. I also absolutely love like the surgeries, like you were saying, like where you actually get to watch the surgery happen.
That's weird.
I told you, I think when last time we talked about it, that when I was younger, I wanted to be a forensic pathologist, and the reason I wanted to be a forensic pathologist is because I wanted to cut people open.
Even when you were older, you wanted to be that.
Yeah,
Well,
now I just want to cut people open.
I mean, I love oddities. I like weird stuff. I like interesting things. And so that show I found very interesting. But usually when it has to do with bodies, human bodies and stuff, that's my creep factor. That's when it goes a little too much for me.
Well, you have a hard time with your wife's tissues laying around because they have bodily fluids.
Well, my
on
dog.
them.
Yeah, I know. Well, no one wants bodily fluid tissues laying around. Ask my mother. Anyway,
why did you leave this here, Richard?
Well, I think it's going to be fun. I'm kind of toying around with going. I don't think my wife wants to go, but I want to go. So it's a matter of, do I want to go by myself? Or do I want to? I think if I drag her along, she'll want to go.
Wait a second. I'm going.
You're going. I know, but you're going like now.
Right.
If I go, I would be going later. I wouldn't go the same time with you.
She doesn't want to go.
I think
she said out loud downstairs she doesn't want to go.
So she's gone. I could talk about this. So this is. So we were supposed to go see jazz last night. At the art museum.
Okay.
And it starts
at the High?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It starts at 6:00. So she emails me or texts me at 7:30.
Oh shit.
And says, I think it's sold out. I'm like, well, yeah, it's 7:30. It started at 6:00.
An hour and a half into it.
She's still at work.
Oh God.
She's a workaholic.
She is a workaholic.
But
and it's getting worse.
So I feel like, and she felt bad, and then she was like, she thought I was mad, but I wasn't. But so I feel like maybe I can like pretend like I'm mad and and get her to go to this thing. Like, make her
Rick.
feel guilty.
Rick.
Yeah, I can make her feel
Why
guilty.
would you do that?
Because she owes me one. We were supposed to see
That's
jazz,
fucked up.
so we can go see oddities.
Why don't you just talk to her and say, hey, since you stood
Oh, I
me
already
up
did.
last
She doesn't
night,
want to do it. Yeah, make her feel guilty.
I think you owe me this day. That's not making him feel guilty.
Yeah,
That's
you
like
stood
make
me
it up.
Now, yeah.
If you go, I can't believe you stood me up, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe you now. You don't even want to go to this thing. That's passive aggressive, and that's not cool.
Go with me, bitch.
That's not cool
That's
either.
what I say.
That's not cool either. And that doesn't even sound like you.
No, I wouldn't do that. Well, I don't know if even if she doesn't want to go, I might want to, but I don't get to see my wife all the time because she works so late. So I see her just in time she gets home, and then we go to bed, and then it's the next day she gets up and leaves. So
And
I never get
clearly
to
you
see
don't
her.
even have sex. When you're in
Never. We
bed.
don't get to, ever.
So, okay.
She never gets to see my moist specimens.
Oh, God. No.
But I want to spend some time with her, and I feel like this is something Lex. We don't do this kind of thing all the time, so this is like a unique thing we could do, and it'd be kind of fun.
But
We always
she
do it.
doesn't want to go.
I think she kind of does. She doesn't want to leave the house. She doesn't want to get like clothes on and go and leave the house. She wants to kind of hang and bum around, which I understand. She has a job. She's never home. She wants to stay home for a little while. I get it.
You never got it when we were living together.
No, you always want to stay home anytime. You never want to leave. But sometimes I just want to go, it's something fun. So I don't know whether I'll go or whether we'll go or whatever. But
She straight up said, "Why don't you just go with Cheri?" I heard those words come out of her mouth.
She's just trying to fix me up.
No,
That's
she's
what she's trying to do.
not. She's trying to get rid of you so she can have a nap. I
Okay.
think.
Well, anyway, we might go and I might get to see some of it. But that should be a fun little thing. I've been kind of wanting to do it anyway.
Yeah, and this is the last show of the year. Obviously, the year's almost over.
Yeah.
But they have regular shows, so it's not like if you don't see this one, you won't see it again. I think they're out again in February, so
Yeah.
it won't be that long.
But it's a good day to do it, so I might do it.
Okay.
Let's start wrapping up the show.
All right,
We had a pretty good show.
I think so.
Everybody, please, thanks for enjoying it. Thanks for joining us. If you did enjoy us, let us know. Send us a little email. Maybe drop us a line saying, I like what you're doing. I don't like what you're doing, whatever. I think, because I noticed, so we've been dropping off some stickers here and there, and I think
Yeah.
we pick up some new people. If maybe you found us through a sticker or someone told you about us or something, let us know. We want to figure out how you know about us. But please get involved. It's part of what we do and what we like. Hear your opinions and what you'd like to see and what you don't want to see. But you can always interact with us. Send us an email at thisepicdisaster@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. This Epic Disaster. That's our favorite place.
I think so.
We do a little bit of Instagramming, some very little Twitter, but we're there. And all of our shows are always on YouTube. Every show.
But there's no video.
There's no video
Just the audio.
right now. We're looking at doing some video. We will do some holiday videos, I swear. I swear to Buddha.
I
will
swear.
do holiday videos.
Did you just swear to your dog?
No, maybe. And but yeah, we offer relationship advice.
We do.
All you got to do is send that to Cheri. Cheri will. She's not really good at relationships on her own, but she's very good at helping other people. I will do a dream interpretation.
Yes, you will.
I'm not really good at having dreams on my own, but I'm really good.
And clearly, you are good at having
Interpreting.
dreams of your own. You have little tigers with socks on, for fuck's
That's
sake.
right, just dancing around the house. So, yeah, send us all of that kind of stuff. We also do a live beer review every freaking show. And this one today, we're going to talk about right now and give it a little review, give it a little rating. What do you think?
Well, I can tell it's got 8.6% alcohol in it, based on not only your mood, but mine.
No, I don't even feel buzzed off of it. I
Lies.
forgot it was 8.
Those are lies.
I forgot it was 8.6. That's
You're
kind of
lying. Now, you did have a little bourbon in your coffee earlier.
I did not. You did, but mine's pure.
No? You didn't put any Baileys or
I
bourbon
did
or
not.
anything in
Mine
it?
is pure. Mine is
Wow.
pure stuff right
I
there.
had a little bourbon in my coffee.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
I noticed.
What?
I noticed you pour the bourbon in.
Okay. And then I poured a little more.
Is that okay? Feeling guilty there?
No. No.
Okay. Let's get back to the beer. What do you think of this beer?
I like it. I still like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost gone. It is sweet. I don't know that I could have more than one.
Mm-hmm.
I might have more than one, maybe 2 tops.
Yeah.
But Cinnamon Roll Imperial Ale. It's ale with natural cinnamon and caramel flavors. Now,
Mm-hmm.
it's all about the cinnamon.
Definitely.
And I am really enjoying that.
Yes.
Because it's not overdone. It's not like hot cinnamon. You know, it's
Right.
not so much cinnamon
Nope.
that it burns your tongue.
Right.
It's just enough cinnamon.
It's
yummy.
very seasonal tasting. And And like I said, at the first, a lot of times we'll get these beers that will say cinnamon or chocolate, and you take it and you're like, I could barely taste it. I could tell that it's there. It's not overdone, but it is there. It's prominent and it's always there. And I think it's just the right amount.
And I could actually huff this glass because it still smells like cinnamon.
That's
so
the good thing about this. It holds up the flavor all the way to the end. It smells good all the way to the end.
The aroma is amazing.
If anything, and this is,
I mean, if you didn't get out this year and get your cinnamon broom at the grocery store, like everybody else buys a cinnamon broom at the grocery store, pick you up this beer.
It's a little lacking in the carbonation. Maybe some people are okay with that.
It's just because it's a stout. That's just the kind of beer.
I know. I like a little more, but to its credit, it keeps what it has all the way through. So I can't find a lot of fault with this beer. But I feel like I hate to give it the top because I always feel like there's a little bit of room for improvement.
Always.
Personally, I'm giving it a 4.5.
God dang it. That's what I was going to give it.
Well, there we go. So
I'm
we both
still giving it a 4.5.
And I would say grab this beer. I'm pleasantly surprised. I did not expect it to be this good.
This is seasonal, and I noticed that my cap had the price tag on it. So you got a 4-pack, and it is $16.
That's a little expensive
for this 4-pack, but again,
it's worth it.
It's an imperial, so you're paying for the alcohol, and you're paying for the fact that it's seasonal.
And that's one thing I will say about it is to me it tastes a little more like a cocktail than it tastes like a beer.
Agreed.
It's got a little cocktail-y taste.
Agreed. It's really yummy. So check it out.
Check it out.
And
check it out. Yeah. All right. So, we've already said goodbye. Let's say goodbye. Our next show, we're moving into the holidays. We're getting close to Thanksgiving.
Yes.
My mother-in-law will be here next week.
Yay! Your mother-in-law has adopted me.
We need to put her on the show or something. But
yes.
She'll be here next week. It'll be like we're into the holidays.
It's happening.
I just
people.
feel like it's going way too fast.
It's happening.
Coming along way too fast. But next week's not our Thanksgiving show, is it? It's the week before Thanksgiving show.
No, this show comes out the week before Thanksgiving. So our next show has to be Thanksgiving because it comes out the Monday before.
All right. Well, we'll probably
figure that part out.
We've almost always done a special live broadcast on Thanksgiving, and I think we might do that this time.
Yeah, and it'll be in addition to.
Just sort of a little welcome. We'll probably do that. You don't have to tune in live if you don't want to.
I might bring a friend.
Okay. We're going to have a lot of people here.
Are you really?
We usually have like a vegetarian Thanksgiving.
Yep.
But not all strictly vegetarian.
No.
Because about half, probably, I don't know, I think it might be half this year. It usually leans a little more towards vegetarian.
How many dogs do you think will be here for Thanksgiving?
Our 2.
Uh-huh.
Lindsay's 2.
Uh-huh.
Toffee?
Yes.
5.
Right.
And then, Leo might be here.
Oh, God.
That's 6.
Oh, God. Leo's a mess.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's 6 dogs.
And so if my friend wanted to bring one.
I think so. As long as the dog gets along with everybody.
Cool.
Yeah. We'll just put them all outside. All right. Well, I hope your Thanksgiving and holiday seasonal stuff is going well.
Yeah.
I haven't even started Christmas shopping. I haven't even thought about it yet.
Shopping? What's that?
That's going to happen soon, but we will see you next week on our Thanksgiving show.
We'll talk to you then.
In the meantime, have fun. We'll talk to you then.
Bye.
Bye.
This is a Violet Jester Media podcast.